Hi, everyone. Let me make me bigger here. Welcome in. Hopefully, you guys are all rolling in the door here. Welcome to Chatting with Kathy and Left Undone. Like, as we've been doing the last couple of days, I'm streaming to both of my channels. So, whichever one you're on, welcome, welcome. And I did realize, because I wasn't sure what today was going to hold as far as the court goes, but I did realize in the Lindsay Clancy case that they did call witnesses today. So we can go over that this today. It's 11:43 here where I'm at in California. And I saw this morning that they went on their trip. They went to a 3V restaurant, CVS, and then into the house that Lindsay and Patrick had owned when this tragedy happened. So say hello in the chat if you're new. Welcome, welcome. My name is Kathy. I am a registered nurse, mother of 4, grandmother of 2, content creator, following true crime, and all of that. And I also have a travel blog. If you're interested in seeing my trips to mostly Greece, that's what I focus on because my family's from there. I'm a dual citizen now, and I have made 6 trips in the last 8 years. So lots to learn. If you need any help planning a trip there, I'm there for you. All right, so let's see. Hey, Bella, and there's Bella. Hello, Bella. Everyone is well. I'm good. How are you? I had a job interview this morning. That's why I couldn't stream right from the get-go. It was a second job interview. So job interview number 2. Hopefully I will get this job, although I really would prefer to just, I don't know, do this. I enjoy hanging out with you guys, but work is work. Got a plan for retirement for someday. So let's see who's here. Welcome and say hello. You are waiting patiently. Thank you so much. And I see you came back. You'll be back. Okay. So if you're here, please say hello in the chat. Let me know what you're doing. Hey, Carolina. How are you? Happy Friday. Good to see you. Welcome, everyone. Remember to like and join the conversation. Good to see you all. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. What? Justine, mean morning. Mornings. Hey, y'all. Hi, sis. I'm just shortening you to sis. So we're starting later than usual, like I just said, because I had a previously scheduled job interview this morning. The jury has completed their visit, and they came back to the courtroom so we can go over all that and make our commentary and add our 2 cents and see what we all think about everything. Morning. Hi. I gotcha. Sis is good. Okay, thanks, sis. And so let's see. They were in progress. I'm sure they're done by now, but we'll just do our thing here because we got things to say and to talk about and to watch. All right, let me get this up here and we can share the screen and get going. As people roll in the door, please say hello. If they're the replay crew, hello. Thank you so much for watching. And move that and put you up here. There we go. Here we go.
Defendant excluding the jury.
All right. Thank you for that. Ready for the jury? Call up?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Defendant? All right. Let me bring the jury in.
I'm glad they had trial today. I was like, oh, they're just going to go do their field trip and be gone. I'm glad they were able to do some witnesses today. I'm just going to wait till the jury comes in and they get started, and then I'll hide my little face in the corner. I listened to a really good interview today. I'll have to find the link of a woman who had postpartum psychosis. It's very enlightening and made a lot of sense to how this could have happened, and her still semi be in reality and have this breakdown. Hey, Clownville 420. Happy Friday to you. I hope everyone has a good weekend as well. It's really hot here. It's 100 degrees, which is actually not that bad. It's only 100. But it says it's supposed to get to 113 by 2.
Your Honor, for the purpose of the record, we return back to the trial of Commonwealth versus Lindsay Clancy. All parties are present, including the defendant and including all 18 jurors.
All right, thank you, Madam Clerk. Members of the jury, we're now going to return, as I told you before, to the Commonwealth's case. And I'll ask the Commonwealth to call their next witness.
All right, here we go.
We'll call Mark Anthony Mafia to the stand.
I think it's probably more first responders, right?
While we're waiting, you want to just, for the record, same objection and standing
All right.
objection, so.
All right.
That keeps.
Hi, welcome. Greer's Garden. Welcome, welcome. I need to increase my font or go get new glasses, you guys. Melissa, hi. Welcome. Glad you're here.
Good morning, sir. Your Honor. All right. Attorney Buckingham, please.
Thank you. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Could you please tell the jury your first and last name, please?
Yes, Mark Anthony Mafio.
And how about spelling your last name for the purpose of the record?
Maffeo.
And where are you employed, sir?
Duxbury Police Department.
How long have you been a police officer?
12 years.
And has your career been with the Duxbury Department, or do you work anywhere else?
I worked in Rockland and Cohasset prior to Duxbury.
So how long have you been at Duxbury Police?
9 years.
9?
Yes.
What's your current rank or assignment at the Duxbury Police Department?
Patrol sergeant.
And I'm going to draw your attention back to January of 2023. What was your assignment then?
A detective.
Were you working on January 24th of 2023?
I was not.
Um,
I was called in to work.
okay, so who contacted you?
At the time, it was Detective Sergeant Jamali.
And is that the normal course in Duxbury when a larger incident or investigation occurs, that sometimes you'd be called in to work a scene if you're not on shift?
Yes.
And
Oh, I haven't watched anything today at all, but I had a theory based on being a nurse, and any of my other nurse friends out there in the chat, let me know what you think. Remember how they were saying that Lindsay's wrists were no longer bleeding? They weren't bleeding, and they kept using the word superficial for some reason. But, you know, remember, it was cold. And Kevin Reddington, the defense attorney, he pointed out to one of the guys on the stand, the first responders, if they knew what homeostasis was. And then he asked about hypothermia. And I started thinking about that. Now, maybe not the neck, but the wrists. Obviously, if you are becoming hypothermic, you're going to vasoconstrict, and blood is going to be shunted to the vital organs, not to the extremities, just like we talked about with newborn babies or people dying. The hands and feet turn blue. The body, when it's going through hypothermia, would vasoconstrict the blood and shunt it to, does anybody else out there that is in the medical field on my chat have any thoughts on that? Because I'm thinking that might be, because they did say she did need stitches the next day. So I don't know. That could be part of it, because they do look pretty significant. They don't look superficial. I call superficial more of a scratch, right? Carolina, you missed yesterday. It was mostly all first responders describing the scene. It was sad. I mean, you could tell they were really affected by it yesterday. All right, I'll continue, but yeah, right? That's what I'm kind of, and hopefully the experts will either prove me right or wrong or bring that up. The neck, not so much, right? I can't picture the neck being, you know, vasoconstricted because of the blood flow to the brain and everything else. But the extremities, I do think. It wasn't right. There was too much blood in the room. They're downplaying that. They're also downplaying. Also, I looked it up. She had 7 medications in her tox screen. And the Remeron and the Seroquel were at peak levels, which would have meant that she took them about 2 hours before this happened. So she was intubated. I saw that picture. She was definitely intubated. So I don't know why they're trying to downplay this as if she knew, she was a nurse. She wasn't a real, you know, that's the other question I have about them. They said this is a fake suicide. She really didn't mean it. But then in their opening statement, they said, oh, she just hated her life, but she was such a control freak. She wanted to take the kids with her. So which was it? Was it a suicide and she wanted to take the kids with her? Or did she fake suicide because she wanted to get rid of her kids? Like that's not a real good point for the prosecution, because their theory is they're giving us two theories. Does that make sense to anyone here? I think that's kind of a little screw up. Like, they need to stick with which theory are they going with? Is it a fake suicide, or was she over it, but she was such a control freak she wanted to take her kids with her? Those are two different, they're talking opposites. Okay, back to this guy.
Detective Jamali, where did he tell you to go?
Initially was reported, I believe it was 42 South Summer Street in Duxbury.
And so do you recall if you went to that location?
I did.
When you arrived there, was the scene still active, meaning there were still kind of ambulances and everything on scene?
Yes.
Did you go into the house?
Not at that time, no.
Were you advised when you arrived on scene that one of the parties was being sent to the South Shore Hospital?
Yes.
And so as a result of that information, what did you do?
I was then tasked with going down to South Shore Hospital.
Now, when you went to South Shore Hospital, did you know the party that was going to be transported there?
Yes.
Who was the party that you were going to meet?
I was advised it was one of the homeowners, Lindsay Clancy.
And you later became aware that the home at 47 Summer Street was the home of Patrick and Lindsay Clancy, correct?
That's correct.
And again, you were also later made aware that they had the 3 children.
Correct.
Were you advised of where the 3 children were?
Yes.
And how about the husband? Were you advised of where Patrick Clancy was?
I was.
As far as the people transported to South Shore Hospital, you came to learn that only Lindsay Clancy was sent to that location, correct?
That's correct.
Did you expect somebody else to be arriving there?
Initially, before I had left the residence, it was a little bit of confusion. They thought that the husband was also being transported to South Shore.
And at some point, were you later advised that that ambulance was turned around and sent to Beth Israel in Plymouth?
Correct.
So when you were at the South Shore Hospital, did you have an opportunity to observe Lindsay Clancy?
I did.
In what condition was she when you observed her at South Shore Hospital?
She appeared sedated and unconscious, with several lacerations to her arms and neck.
No objection to the photograph.
Thank you.
May I approach the witness?
You may.
Take a look at those.
Yep.
Do you recognize the individual in these photographs?
I do.
And were you present when these photographs were taken?
I don't recall.
Okay. As far as the condition that the person in these photographs was in, do you recall this to be a fair and accurate representation of what she looked like?
Yes.
I would ask him if this is the next word.
All right, those may be admitted.
Sir, if I could just draw your attention to the screen beside you. I'm showing you now what's been marked as Exhibit 110. And who is the individual depicted in this photograph?
Lindsay Clancy.
And those are the injuries that you observed that day of her on her neck?
Correct.
And showing you on the screen what's been.
All right, I want to look at these. So it looks like she almost went from ear to ear, kind of high up, like right under her jaw, but it looks more than superficial to me. And you can tell it bled quite a bit. There's blood all over her. All right, we'll continue here.
marked as exhibit number 111. Again, is that Lindsay Clancy?
And she's intubated.
Injuries that you observed on January 24th on her neck.
Correct.
And 112, exhibit 112.
Trying to see these two. Cut, cut, cut. Can't tell, but I mean, from here, they don't look terrible, but we'll see what happens if they bring up more pictures than that. That is what, her right hand. She's got a lot of blood on her hand. Smeared here. They did wrap them at the scene, remember? So we'll have to see if they'll show us anything else that makes that look any more
In the middle of this
interesting.
photograph with an arm extended, there are some cuts in a cut in the middle. Did you observe those on January 24th as well?
I did.
And finally, exhibit 113, that would be the other arm.
If I'm right here, if I'm seeing this correctly, is the artery right here. So she did go over it. Yeah. Yeah, the neck for sure. This looks like several. I can only imagine somebody in a psychotic state, like slice, 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 go, you know. Her hands have a lot of blood on them. I mean, they definitely did bleed. And if she was cold, I can see them vasoconstricting to not be gushing blood anymore. Hey, BLM's here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So I'm just wondering if these were, if the blood in the cold, because she was becoming hypothermic, if this all constricted and she didn't bleed as much when the paramedics were helping her. That is my question. All right, let's continue.
Did you observe those cuts to that arm?
Yes.
Now, in addition to
Now, are we only showing one arm? Did she show two arms or one? Did I space out?
observing her at South Shore Hospital, did you do anything to collect potential evidence that day?
I did.
And what did you do?
I gathered, I believe they had been removed from the hospital staff, clothing, pants, shirt, I believe it was a scarf, and wedding bands.
Okay.
Oh, thank you. I guess Kathy's just spaced out for a minute. I only saw one too. Oh. Yeah, good point. Factor in how hard that would be to do to yourself. Instinct would be to pull back the whole time, especially when you start feeling pain, right? It might be why she just scrambled. Like, I can't do this enough. Jump out the window. Let's move the bed. I can only imagine, you know, that she had to have like so many racing thoughts to do the pills, and Patrick was on her way home and she wasn't dead yet. I don't know. Or she's like, I better hurry up. Let me cut myself. Oh, that doesn't work. Or she cut first and then decided to take the pills, or took the pills so it wouldn't be as bad. When my friend died, who I still think was murdered by her husband, she had nothing in her system, no pills or anything. And she shot herself in the hand. They said that's very unusual for a woman. And mostly people usually take something to sedate themselves before they do something like that. So.
Are these 7 photographs familiar to you? Are the items depicted in these photographs familiar?
Yes.
I move to admit these as the next exhibits, please.
Any objection?
I have no objection to any of the photographs.
They may be admitted.
Thank you. I've been on this mission. I wish there was something I could do about it. It's been 11 years now. I agree. 3 different ways is a lot to fake something. And again, was she faking it or was she trying to take the kids with her? The prosecution's gone on both avenues here. Very strange.
It should be 114.7. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Reporter.
Now, sir, the items that you then collected, you said that they were provided to you. Who gave them to you?
It was one of the hospital staff.
Okay, and so in examining those, you would agree that those items have been cut off of the individual.
Correct.
And so after taking custody of those particular items, did other law enforcement arrive at South Shore Hospital?
Yes.
And who arrived?
Trooper Lawler from the Mass State Police and Officer Lepard from the Duxbury Police.
And again, you had been at the scene at 47 Summer Street, correct?
Correct.
And
If I do, it's over on Left Undone somewhere. It's been so long since I've talked about it. Just ask Justine. So my dad committed suicide when he was 34. Oh, I was 13. Oh, he had told my mom many times he was going to do it. From my perspective, when somebody threatens, believe them. She did not fake this. I don't think she faked it. I think, like maybe taking some pills and laying on the bed, knowing that Patrick was going to be back real soon, would be maybe faking it, knowing that he'd find her and save her, something like that. But I don't see these 3 things. And Patrick saw a lot of blood. So clearly something bled a lot, right? And I'm so sorry about your dad. How horrible. Oh, poor thing. Do you know if she was still in her psychosis when Patrick found her? How long does someone stay in that frame of mind? I'm not doubting her. I don't know much about psychosis. I do know about where's the next part? Psychosis seems to be able to, it's not a straight line. Sometimes they're going in it. Sometimes they're not so much in it. That there's a great, that video you sent me the link to yesterday was PLM or Stacy or all of you guys maybe have sent it to me, or Lori sent it to me this morning. And I know Stacy put it in Discord of the woman explaining her postpartum psychosis, what she was going through with postpartum psychosis. And it was really crazy. She explains it. She was seeing shadows. Remember, I told you that's what my patients have described to me. They think there's somebody walking by and they're human. And she was hearing a voice and she said it sounded like her husband. But then she started questioning, was it her husband's voice? And it was really wild. Like she would go out, she'd forget, she thought she had the baby sitting next to her. And all of a sudden she heard the baby and she's like, what? I had the baby right here with me. And the baby's on the floor behind the couch, like 1 month old. So I think it's really complicated. As far as I know, deep cuts would still be bleeding in cold temperatures. Only superficial cuts would stop bleeding in cold temperatures. But with that cold, with hypothermia, not just cold, because for whatever reason, the defense attorney is starting to dropped a hint about hypothermia. Now I know, although hypothermia can affect coagulation too and clotting. So I think, yeah, definitely would have to be a question for the experts. I'm just thinking vasoconstriction, trying to shunt the blood away from the extremities into the core to save the vital organs, which is what happens when people are dying, actively dying, their hands and feet are blue and cold. Their babies are born. Their hands and feet are blue because it's shunting all the blood to the vital organs. So I don't know. I'm not expert on that at all, but it's just my thought process on knowing what I know. about how the body tries to protect itself. Because you can't live without your liver, your kidneys, your brain, your lungs, you know, but you can live without your arms and hands and feet.
Then you went to South Shore Hospital. Were other members of the Duxbury department at the Summer Street address and at other locations during the time you were at the hospital?
I would believe so, but I'm not positive.
And were you aware that the state police had become involved in this case?
Yes.
And
Oh my gosh, that's so sad. My cousin committed suicide with a gunshot wound to her head. She took her life on her son's birthday, who had passed away 10 years to the day. Oh my gosh, that's so horrible. So sad. When my friend shot herself in the head, she shot, or this is the story they told, she shot herself in the right temple, but she was left-handed. So really makes me wonder again. And she was leaving her husband. It was one of those domestic violence situations. So, but I'm so sorry about your cousin. I think I saw that yesterday, but can't remember what creator did it. Oh, the woman. Yeah, I'm using my phone for my camera today, so I can't look. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Can't imagine the pain. It's so terrible, you guys. I can't imagine what people like losing their kid goes through. Oh. Hi, Kathy. I feel seeing the amount of blood in her state of mind, thought it was job done. Right. And then boom, out the window to finish it. Yeah.
based on your experience as a Duxbury officer, do you sometimes work in tandem with the state police
Yeah,
on certain types of
doesn't.
investigations?
We do.
And so when Trooper Lawler arrived at the hospital, did you turn over these items to him?
I did.
Now, in the time that you were at the South
Thank
Shore
you.
Hospital, did you have the opportunity to speak at all with Lindsay Clancy?
No.
In the time that you observed her, was she responsive at all?
No.
Was she in custody at that point?
I would say yes.
Well, let me ask you this. As far as when a person is placed in custody, you usually advise them that they are, correct?
Correct.
I don't hear him saying that he's not sure. His answer was yes. I understand what the governor's saying.
When your department has somebody in custody, is it protocol to have an officer stay with that individual?
Yes.
And in this case, was somebody assigned to stay with Lindsay Clancy?
Yes.
At the time you were at the hospital, was that your role?
Yes.
At some point, did someone else from your department come to keep watch?
Yes.
Who was that person?
I believe it was Officer Lepard. I know Officer Broderick was also assisting. I can't recall if he arrived at the hospital as well.
Okay, but you recall Officer Lepard?
Yes.
And
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Your husband's uncle supposedly committed suicide according to police, but he was shot in the chest with a shotgun. That'd be kind of hard to do. They found the gun. My husband thinks he was murdered, but police to investigate. And that's what happened with my friend too. They didn't even investigate. They just decided, no, nothing. They just said, her husband was like, well, she's kind of depressed and she was leaving and and she came back and she was talking crazy because he made her come back. He asked her to come back home after she got 200 miles away and said, no, we have this birthday party planned for these grandkids. It was their second marriage. So it was like step grandkids. They had her, she was dumb enough to come back. She was going to California to her parents and she went back. She turned around, went back. And it just didn't add up. But I did a FOIA request. They wouldn't even give me everything, but I got some of the stuff. And basically it was so dumb. It was like, nothing to see here, folks. No investigation. Horrible. Horrible. So sad. Just get away with murder. No problem. Okay. No investigation. We don't care. You know, it rubs me the wrong way.
once the scene was secured at South Shore Hospital, did you leave?
I did.
And where did you go?
Back to the address in Duxbury.
And that would be 47 Summer Street, correct? I think you might have said 42 at one point.
You're right. Yep. 47 Summer.
And at the residence at 47 Summer Street, Did you assist other Duxbury officers in securing the scene upon the arrival of the crime scene services?
Yes.
Were you present when the Massachusetts State Police Detectives Unit executed a search warrant at 47 Summer Street?
I was.
And was that kind of later that night into the early morning hours of the 25th?
Yes.
I have no further questions.
All right.
Thank you.
Counsel?
Yeah, wrong hand, right? Would you, if you were going to kill yourself, would you use your non-dominant hand? I mean, it doesn't make sense. And I went on her Facebook after that because it's still there, but it was soon after. And remember when everybody was doing those, the ice bucket challenge, the Lou Gehrig's, I think it was the ice bucket challenge, pouring a bottle of ice, a pitcher of ice over your head on camera on social media. And I went back and found hers, and she definitely lifted it with, she had a big picture. She lifted it with her left hand and poured it over her head. I'm like, dude, if she's going to pour an ice bucket over her head with her left hand, she's certainly going to use a gun with her left hand, right? Very suspicious, right? My dad shot himself in the heart with a shotgun. Oh, I heard it because my parents were fighting at midnight, woke me up, and I heard him go into the backyard. Point being, it can be done with a shotgun. Thank you. Interesting. It just seems like it'd be hard. You know what I mean? Like to turn everything around, but I don't know. I don't shoot guns, but thank you for clarifying that it can be done. And you heard it. Oh my God, Justine. Yeah, you've been through way too much for one person. It's weird they put all the resources into accusing innocent people, but won't investigate and find the actual truth. Yeah, it's so bizarre. Right. The non-dominant hand is really weird. And I don't know about how hard it would be because I use my dominant hand for everything. To use your non-dominant. Oh, when I talked to the coroner. I called them and I was like, I don't understand. She was right. She shot herself in the right side of her head with her left. She's left-handed. And the woman that I talked to at the coroner's office was like, or the medical examiner, she was like, well, oh God, I think the gardener's here. I hope you guys can't hear Percy going crazy right now. Was like, oh, well, some people are ambidextrous. And I'm like, she wasn't. I've known her since we were 16. Like we used to sit next to each other. I'm like, let me get on the other side, so we're not bumping elbows. So it was really, really sad. Can you hear Percy? Is he making you crazy like he's making me crazy? My fiance died by suicide 7 years ago. We had just bought our tiny house and we're about to move cross country together. Never felt a sadness like that. I had lost my whole world. Oh my gosh. So sad. Very sad, traumatic. And things were going well. You just bought your house. Let me close these doors and see if that helps him be quiet. I swear my dog's going to have a heart attack, though, when the gardener comes because he can't breathe. He's a pug. And he like goes, like he can't breathe. And he's barking at the gardener like the whole time. Okay, let me continue, guys.
Can I see the exhibits that were just introduced? I'm sorry.
12:16 p.m.
Morning.
Morning.
I've got a couple of other photographs that I'd like to, just since you were at the hospital at South Shore, if I could.
Sure.
Is that what Lindsay's condition was when you went in the hospital and saw her?
I don't recall those being on her legs. But I'm not 100% sure. But other than that, yes.
Other than that, yes. So I would offer that if I could.
Any objections?
Maybe approach.
Sure, yeah.
Dude, she always has an objection. Every single thing he brings, she's like that. Ugh, Gardner's here. Okay. I know. I mean, just because it's selfish, but they're in so much pain. But the selfish part is leaving people, to suffer. It's just the whole thing is just a heartbreaking mess. Let's see if I can go move up a little bit. Oh, I hope the gardener's quick today. Yeah. All right. Let's see.
All right, that may be.
Okay, here we go. I'll get myself out of here so you guys don't have to hear the dog.
Go and do that.
You at some point had a chance to take a look at her face, I imagine, sir.
Correct.
Is that fair and accurate depiction?
Yes,
And she was unconscious at that point, was she not?
that's correct.
About this, Jim.
All right, that may be admitted.
And this, you said that there was some cuts on her wrist.
Yes.
That's a fair and accurate depiction.
Correct.
And cuts on the neck as well.
Correct.
And from the other side, right from the front.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Judge.
All right. All right, those photos may be admitted.
Thank you. And I'm just showing you another exhibit. This would have already been introduced into evidence, and this would be Exhibit 112. And this would also depict the area of the wrist. Is that correct?
Correct.
The cut was. Likewise, Exhibit 111 also shows the cuts on the neck. Is that correct?
Correct.
Now, when you went to the house, you were a detective at this point, correct?
Correct.
And obviously you're working in tandem at this time with the state police. They were also investigating, right?
Correct.
But you were the detective for the town of Duxbury.
One of them, yes.
One of them, okay. And one of the things counsel had asked you about was the clothing that Lindsay was wearing, and it was cut off, right?
Correct.
So I'm just going to show you and ask if this appears to be a fair and accurate depiction. Rendition of, for example, one of her items of clothing.
Yes.
Okay, well, I don't know that, so I'm just gonna make sure it's in, that's all. Does that show that there's blood on that item of clothing?
Not that I see.
Okay. Was there some type of residue of paint or something on the clothing, if you recall?
I don't recall, no.
No. Did you notice on the pants any blood on the jeans? Well, if you recall.
I don't recall, no.
How about the?
Looks like blood to me. You can see the dark.
That was worn?
That's blood.
On that.
No.
Was there a bra that was cut off, if you recall?
Yes, there was.
And the blood seeped through the clothing into the bra itself? Is that correct?
Correct.
And that would be obviously from outside the clothing and then into the bra that was being worn, right?
Correct.
These, Judge?
Any objection?
They're already in evidence. They've been marked, so I don't see this necessary to mark them again. They're the same photographs.
Well, I'll trust the representation there in evidence. I don't want to
All right.
hold the court. So if they're already in evidence, then that's good
I
enough.
just
for me.
submitted them through Sergeant Murphy.
But the bottom line is that you do agree that there was certainly blood on the interior and exterior clothing that she was wearing, right?
That's correct.
It also agrees, sir, that there was blood in the area from the outside of the backyard directly underneath the window. Is that correct? Do you agree with that if you remember looking at it?
That is correct. The ground, the snow, and the leaves that were underneath, of course, there are a lot of people walking around, but you could see the blood Correct.
directly underneath the window, right?
Back window.
You notice blood that was on the window sill itself on the second floor, one hand, one mark on that window ledge.
Yes.
You also noted blood that at some point had gone onto the two shingles that were in the area underneath that ledge, underneath that window, right?
Correct.
Right off of the blood on the floor, on the ground with the EMT documents.
No objection.
All right, that may be admitted.
Thank you. Now, the state police went and got a search warrant, right?
Correct.
And you were there when they were searching.
Correct.
You guys were helping out. Obviously, it was a group effort to search the house for relevant or material evidence, right?
Correct.
Now, one of the things that was seized were pill bottles. Is that right?
Correct.
You know why they were seized?
I do not.
Did you seize any pill bottles?
I do not.
Were you there when the state police seized the pill bottles?
I was.
Do you recall that the pill bottles were seized from, for example, in the kitchen? You opened up a cabinet and they were right on, a bunch of them lined up on a shelf.
I can't attest to that. I wasn't
Okay.
present for that.
Why don't I ask you this? Where did they get the pill bottles from?
You'd have to ask them. I wasn't there when they seized the bottles.
You weren't there. when
I
they
wasn't
seized-
in that room. We were in
Okay.
multiple rooms at a time.
So I may stand corrected. I'm sorry. If I thought I asked you if you were there when the state police was seizing the bottles, and I thought you said you were.
I was in the house. Correct.
In the house, but
Yes.
you weren't there when they were seizing anything.
Correct.
How about up in the bedroom? Did you go up in the bedroom?
I did.
Did you observe the blood on the floor?
I did.
You observed when you went in the bedroom, it was very cold, right?
Yes.
Obviously, because the window was open, right?
Correct.
And when you went into the bedroom, you made observations as a detective of certain items such as, does this appear to be a fair, accurate rendition of the floor, blood drops on the floor?
It
in the
does.
bedroom?
Yes.
Is this a indication of the bed itself, the right side of the bed, additional blood is located on the floor next to the books?
Yes.
Does this appear to be the nightstand that was next to the bed?
It does.
And do you see what's on top of the nightstand?
Yes.
What's on top of the nightstand?
There's 2 cups, a knife, it looks like a jar or something, and maybe a clock.
Okay. Also blood drops?
Correct.
This is a additional photograph moving farther down towards the right side of the bed.
Correct.
This is a close-up of the knife that was on the nightstand as well as the little cup that was there and something that says deep sleep pillow spray. You see that?
Yep.
And that was on that top of the furniture, correct?
Correct.
And this again is an area depicting various items of clothing. It looks like an old headband, a wire perhaps to charge a phone, and blood on the floor.
Correct.
And this shows the location of the bed. Additional photograph of the blood towards the end of the bed and also the area of the window, right?
Correct.
What off of these, Judge?
Back to that photograph.
Can I see counsel in regards?
Thank you, Carolina. Appreciate you putting that up there. I guess let's pin this. Can I pin it from here? think I have to pin it in. I can't pin it from StreamYard. Can I? No. Maybe not. Hold on. Let me see if I can go into my YouTube channel and pin that for. Or I don't know if any of you mods can or not. I don't know if it's allowed. I don't know. Let's see. I'm trying to find it. Yeah, much appreciated, Carolina. Really. Okay, let's see. There it is. I got it over here. Thank you. Okay. Here they come. I was going to fast forward, but I think they're coming back right now.
But basically, the boots that I already showed you and the blood showing that the blood kind of follows through along the edge of the bed, the furniture, and then up to the wall. Correct. Was there also like, do you recall one of those full-length mirrors?
I don't recall.
Any objection on that? All right, those pictures may be admitted.
So you had nothing to do.
Hold on a second, counsel. Just gonna mark these.
So you had nothing to do with the seizure of any of the pill bottles, sir?
Correct.
And you don't have a memory.
It's so hard to hear when he's away from the.
In the kitchen and seeing.
There he comes back.
Journals or spiral bound notebooks and books.
Correct.
Was that pretty much the extent of your involvement with this case that night?
That night, yes.
And you really didn't get involved with any further investigation on this matter, as far as seizing evidence, except for what you testified to, right?
We did seize, I located a laptop in the hallway closet,
Okay,
and that was, I believe, seized by the state police as well.
okay. Anything else you recall? How about, do you remember when you guys were searching or you watched the state police searching, did they open up Rob to the nightstand that was next to the bed with a number of pill bottles in it?
Again, I wasn't present when that was taken, so I can't attest to that.
How about Apple Watch? No.
I don't recall.
Okay. Attorney Buckingham, you redirect?
Sir, when you were at the hospital with Lindsay Clancy, with the defendant, were the medical staff in the emergency department actively treating the wounds to her neck and her wrists?
No, they were not.
And when you came back to the home at 47 Summer Street to secure the scene and wait for crime scene services, nobody went into the house that didn't need to be there before crime scene services, correct?
Correct.
In your experience, is that normal?
Yes.
And so were you present when any of the photographs that were shown to you by defense counsel were taken?
I don't believe so.
Okay. So your testimony today about those photos is your best memory of what the scene looked like at that time?
Yes.
And as far as your role in the search warrant execution, fair to say there were quite a number of state police, Duxbury officers, as well as crime scene troopers on scene in the house during that. And
Did her audio get weird? Like now there's like a echoey rumbling in it, or is it me? Do I have too many tabs open or something? Let me know if the audio got weird with her. please.
Each person, did they have their own kind of role in what they were doing?
Correct.
And did you kind of stay to your area?
Yes.
And you indicated that you only found a laptop in the first floor closet, correct?
Correct.
And so any of the other manners in which the rooms were searched, you were not a part of?
Correct.
Thank you. Nothing further.
You didn't have to stay to your area as a detective in the Duxbury Police Department, did you?
Correct.
So you were able to go and assist with the search and go into the different rooms and look for potential evidence, right?
That's correct.
And do you remember approximately how many Duxbury police officers were in or about the house, either outside, on the porch, on the deck, in the house, downstairs, upstairs?
I don't.
Would it be more than 10?
Thank you. I was wondering.
No, I wouldn't say more.
It's
than
like
that.
crackly,
How
huh?
about state police? You remember how many there were of them?
No.
So all told, when you consider that, the sheriff's department wasn't there too, were they, if you recall?
No,
Okay,
they were
sometimes
not.
they send them to take pictures,
No.
I don't know if they, okay. Would you agree that there were probably more than 10 officers from state police and Duxbury police that would be doing this investigation?
Correct.
All right. A number of police cruisers, and then you have perhaps, just asking, the yellow tape,
Yes.
crime scene, don't pass it and all that.
Correct.
Now, if I was, for example, to show up and pull up in my car and get out, and they're not gonna let me wander in the house and look around, are they?
Correct.
I mean, that's just for law enforcement officers only until they clear the scene, right?
Correct.
That's after they execute their search warrants and find whatever evidence is relevant, in their opinion,
Correct.
that they seize, right?
Yes.
Once the scene is clear, then people are able to go back into the home, right?
Right.
And you don't know, I would imagine, when they cleared the scene.
Correct.
Thank you, that's all.
Anything on that? All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
That's funny. Yeah, like we're actually talking to each other, right? You can hear me. I can hear you. You can hear me. I can't hear you.
Richard Lepard.
Oh my gosh, I wish the gardeners would leave. I thought the prosecutor was adding some vocal fry to even be more annoying. Yeah, I think they probably remember because I said their audio was really low. I wonder if the mainstream did something to their audio and made it a little bit distorted. I get accused of having vocal fry, you guys. Do I have vocal fry? People accuse me of it. I know sometimes maybe I get a little throaty, but hopefully not. Maybe that's why the person yesterday hated my voice. It's more like the Kardashians, though, right? I'm going to do a little West Coast
Good morning.
accent.
Could you please tell the jurors your first and last name?
Okay, good.
Richard Lepard.
And can you spell your last name for the record?
Yeah, it's still echoey.
L-I-P-P-A-R-D.
And how are you employed?
I work for the Duxbury Police Department.
And how long have you been a police officer?
6.5 years.
Have you worked for Duxbury the entire time, or did you work someplace else?
The entire time.
What's your current assignment at the Duxbury Police?
Patrol.
That works.
Back in January of 2023, were you also on patrol then?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you working the day of January 24th, 2023?
Yes.
At some point while you were on shift that day, were you asked to assist in an ongoing investigation for an incident that occurred at 47 Summer Street in Duxbury?
Yes. I was called back in.
You were called back in?
Yep.
Had you finished your shift?
Yes, ma'am.
And so where were you asked to go?
To the police department.
When you came to the police department, where did they direct you to go as far as the investigation went?
South Shore Hospital in Weymouth.
And so when you arrived at South Shore Hospital, was there already another Duxbury officer there?
Detective Mafia was there.
Okay. And what was the purpose of you going to South Shore Hospital?
To overwatch the person in custody.
Okay, and did you learn who that person was?
Yes.
And fair to say that individual was a woman by the name of Lindsay Clancy, correct?
Yes.
What were your observations of her when you were at South Shore Hospital?
She seemed to be sedated. Not speaking or anything on the hospital bed. Just laying there.
And excuse me, when you were there, or during the time that you were there, did you ever have any conversation with her?
Do you guys think it's them or should I do something with the audio? I think it's them. I don't know. I feel like it's them. I think they adjusted their audio on the main stream or something because I didn't do anything. What do you think? What do you think? All right, I'll keep playing, but tell me if you think it's me. I think it could be them. Maybe if I open it on another tab. Let me see. I just don't want to annoy you guys. Real quick, let's see. East Idaho news. Let me just scroll through to about this part on another tab just to see. Where's their live? Okay. Oh yeah. Okay, it's on I opened it on a whole nother window, another tab, and it's the same thing. So just making sure it's not me. Sometimes I get in trouble from the chat for stuff like that, right?
No.
Did she remain unresponsive during the time that you were there?
Yes.
And were you also there when somebody came in and took some photographs of her?
I do not recall.
Were medical staff tending to her during the time that you were with her?
Yes.
Where in the South Shore Hospital was this? The emergency department or someplace else?
Emergency department.
And shortly after you were there observing her, did she or did the doctors indicate she was going to be transported someplace else?
Yes.
Where was she going to go?
That she was going to be med-flighted to the Brigham in Boston.
And other than yourself or other law enforcement and medical staff, did anyone speak with her at the South Shore Hospital?
No.
And when you, when she was transported to the hospital in Boston, did you go along with the transport?
Yes.
Do you remember how she was transported?
It was a med-flight helicopter.
So you rode in the helicopter with her?
Yes.
And when you arrived at the Brigham in Boston, where did she go there?
She went to the emergency room.
Did you remain with her during that time period?
Correct.
And was there anyone else with you at the Brigham with her?
Officer Broderick.
And so the two of you were, what was your role?
Just to overwatch and stay with her.
At any point when you were with her at the Brigham, did she ever, was she ever awake or responsive?
No, not to my knowledge.
And how long were you at the Brigham with her?
About 15 to 16 hours.
Okay, so fair to say it was over the course of that night into the next morning?
Yes, ma'am.
Over the course of the night into the next morning, do you observe her medical status change?
There was some type of medical code during the nighttime. I'm not sure what it was.
Okay, but you were present in the room when that happened?
Yes, we were outside the room.
Outside?
Yeah.
Wait, hold
the
on.
next morning when your shift concluded.
Hold on. Medical code? Did she code? What is he talking about? Medical code. Like a code blue code or a code? I don't know. I'm confused. They're not going to clarify that, are they? Maybe her attorney will. Not a code security or a code whatever, you know what I mean? We have a code where we want a bunch of people to come from different specialties in the hospital. They're all named different in different hospitals where they can get a rapid response where they can kind of decide, no, we need to do this or that. It's like when something's going down, we would call it in labor and delivery if somebody was doing something big, like coding or not a code because you call it code blue, but the rapid response team would come to that too. But if you had an issue and you can't totally put your pinpoint it or know what to do about it exactly, and you need a bunch of specialists from throughout the hospital to come in, they'd call a rapid response. But I'd like to know what kind of code they called on her.
Did somebody else from the Duxbury Police Department come and relieve you?
Yes.
During the time that you were there, did anyone besides medical staff or the law enforcement officers that you were with interact with the defendant?
No.
Thank you. Nothing for
Mr. Reddington.
Morning.
Morning.
Good afternoon. So A young man working for the town of Duxbury, and you were detailed to the home initially, correct?
No, sir.
You didn't go to the house at all?
No, sir.
Okay, you went directly to South Shore.
Correct.
And when you were at South Shore, your purpose was to, as you say, overwatch. Well, that basically is she was in custody at that point, right?
Correct.
So one of your obligations is to, I guess, guard the unconscious person and make sure what to do, what just to stand there.
Correct.
Okay, and you did in South Shore Hospital.
Yes, you're more than welcome to have your opinion here. As I said, thank you. I just don't want anybody attacking each other, right? Or me. But yes, I do appreciate other opinions. Food for thought, too. It helps us all think, you know?
Right?
Yes, sir.
Lord, we got birds, we got dogs.
You know, bandaged or whatever, laying in the bed, and she was not conscious, correct?
Correct.
And at some point, the decision was made medically that they were going to have her med flighted to the Boston Hospital, Brigham and Women's, right?
Correct.
And that was by way of the helicopter.
Yes, sir.
You had a helicopter ride into Boston with her, right?
Yes, sir.
You were overwatching her in the helicopter again, right?
Yes, sir.
She still had not gained consciousness at all.
Correct.
She wasn't talking to you or medical staff or anybody, right?
Correct.
She was already had the tubes and stuff in her mouth coming out. She was bandaged up and wrapped up and basically laying down in the gurney in the helicopter, right?
Yes, sir.
So when she gets to Brigham and Women's Hospital, they bring her into the emergency room, right?
Yes.
And that room was loaded with equipment.
He's one of the
tubes. But
he's one of the police officers that had to stay with her. Went from one hospital to the other, flew in the helicopter with her, in the transport helicopter, and then stayed with her like 15 hours, he said. So he's just one of the police officers that watched over her when she was in the hospital. Percy can't breathe, by the way. I might have to do resuscitation on my dog. I went for 20 minutes and can't breathe because of the gardener. Boy, oh boy. Okay, sorry. Here we go. If you hear him breathing in the background, I'll let you know if I have to do CPR on my dog.
using beeps, lights, things of that nature, right?
Yes.
Life-saving equipment that was in there, right?
Yes.
Very small room, wasn't it?
Yes.
Kind of hard to maneuver.
Yep, right,
There
Palin?
was
It
no
does
space
help.
for the medical staff to maneuver.
All right. And how many police officers were overwatching the unconscious person while she was in the emergency room at Brigham and Women?
2.
That would be you and the other officer from Duxbury.
Yes, sir.
At what point did the state police officers arrive in the hospital?
I don't recall them coming to the hospital.
Did you ever see state police in the hospital?
Possibly at South Shore Hospital, but not in Boston.
So you're in Brigham and Women's off of the helicopter into the emergency room for a day, is that correct?
Correct. 16 hours.
Did you go back there again after that day?
To South Shore Hospital?
No, Brigham and Women's Hospital.
No.
So you're limited to the time that you were there as to you and your brother officer were there in the room with her, correct?
Yes.
And a number of nurses and doctors, right?
Yes.
Fair to say it was chaos. It was like bedlam in that room, wasn't it?
Yes, very busy.
And you don't remember any other police officers? How about internal police officers from Brigham and Women's Hospital? Do you recall them being there?
There may have been security, but I do not recall.
So is it your testimony that you do not recall any other police being in that room or outside the room when you were there?
Correct.
Now, at some point, police were detailed, if you know, to sit outside the room to guard the door. Is that correct?
Yes.
And what were you guarding against?
No, overall.
Anybody coming to visit?
Right, because nobody was allowed to visit, right?
Correct.
And then while you were there in the early morning hours, about 2:24 or something like that, there was, as you said to the jury, a code, right?
Yes.
And again, that kind of amped up the bedlam at that point, didn't it?
Yes, sir.
There were people running from all over, and you could hear on the microphone code blue with the room being identified, right?
Yes.
And that meant
Holy crap. He said she coded. She was a code blue. That's a big deal for a fake suicide, wouldn't you say? That's important. That's really important. I hope the jury understands what that means. If that's accurate, she coded.
That she was dead or dying, right?
Code blue is a cardiac arrest where they have to come in, start CPR, take the paddles, shock the heart. Code blue, like it's the end. You died. We gotta bring you back to life right now. Yeah, that's what code blue is. It's the worst of the worst. Dang. She certainly did leave that out, didn't she? I'm just shocked because I didn't expect that. I didn't expect with the way that they're talking about the superficial, she wasn't bleeding. Like, I'm shocked that she coded and that's never come up. I've been through several severe hormonal issues and intrusive thoughts, but I knew better. So it would just not be good to have that one on the jury, honestly. Yeah, true. Well, not really case closed, but I mean, her suicide was almost successful if she wasn't laying in a hospital bed with being able to have a code there, right? I mean, she'd be dead. When you code in a hospital, that's where they can save you. You're in the right place to be able to be brought back. But yeah, even out in the field, it's hard to bring people back when they code. Like my ex-husband, they worked on him for 30 minutes in the field. They couldn't bring him back. Very big facts. Very big facts. Let's see if she does a recross and if anything gets clarified or if it really wasn't a code blue. I'm just shocked right now.
Yes.
She was chained to the.
Hold on. I'm going to go back
No,
for a
sir.
second.
Do you recall when you left?
I just want to go back for a second. I have to hear that
The
again.
courtroom, sir.
Yes.
I might have went back too far, huh?
The next morning around 10, from what I remember.
Okay. And you were relieved by who?
Officer Daly from the Duxbury Police Department and Officer Johnson from the Duxbury Police Department.
All right. So you've got two Duxbury police officers. And to your memory, were there any other law enforcement officers?
Not with them, no.
How about on their own? Did you observe other law enforcement officers come in that room or outside the room?
Thank
No,
you.
sir.
It was
And then
sudden.
that was the end of your
My
shift.
poor
and you
kids.
left.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Counsel, anything further?
No, thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. You said that. Thank you.
Wait, hold on. I wanted to hear that again about the code. Did I go the wrong way?
I don't recall them coming to the hospital.
Did you ever see state police in the hospital?
Possibly. At
Sorry,
Southfield
I wanna hear
Hospital,
this
but
again.
not in Boston.
So you're in Brigham and Women's off of the helicopter into the emergency room for a day. Is that correct?
Did I go back?
Correct, 16 hours.
Did you go back there again after that day?
To South Shore Hospital?
No, Brigham and Women's Hospital.
No.
So you're limited to the time that you were there as to you and your brother officer were there in the room with her, correct?
Yes.
And a number of nurses and doctors, right?
Yes.
Fair to say it was chaos. It was like bedlam in that room, wasn't it?
Yes, very busy.
And you don't remember any other police officers? How about internal police officers from Brigham and Women's Hospital? Do you recall them being there?
There may have been security, but I do not recall.
So is it your testimony that you do not recall any other police being in that room or outside the room when you were there?
Correct.
Now, at some point, police were detailed, if you know, to sit outside the room to guard the door. Is that correct?
Yes.
And what were you guarding against?
No, overall.
I agree.
Anybody coming to visit?
You should know
Because
code
nobody
blue.
was allowed to visit, right?
Correct.
And then while you were there in the early morning hours, about 2:24 or something like that, there was, as you said to the jury, a code, right?
Yes.
And again, that kind of amped up the bedlam at that point, didn't it?
Yes, sir.
There were people running from all over, and you could hear on the microphone code blue with the room being identified, right?
Yes.
And that meant that she was dead or dying, right?
Yes.
She was chained to the hospital bed too, wasn't she?
I do not recall her being handcuffed.
You don't.
No, sir.
Do you recall when you left?
The Brigham, sir.
Yes.
The next morning around 10.
Some sort of
I remember.
code.
Okay. And you were relieved by who?
Officer Daly from the Duxbury Police Department and Officer Johnson from the Duxbury Police Department.
All right. So you've got 2 Duxbury police officers. And to your memory, were there any other law enforcement officers?
Not with them, no.
How about on their own? Did you observe other law enforcement officers come in that room or outside the room?
No, sir.
And then that was the end of your shift and you left.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Counsel, anything further?
No, thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. You said, thank you.
Right. He's like, you heard code blue throughout the whole hospital announcing that a bunch of people needed to come to that particular room because that means she's dead, dying, right? Right. Some sort of code. Awful strange. Felt like these officers are, I mean, I don't know. But yeah, clearly biased for sure on that one, because if she couldn't walk, why was she handcuffed to the bed? And she was sedated and intubated. So there's a lot. She's pretty restrained no matter how you look at it, right? Yeah. But I do not appreciate the fact that he said some sort of code when he knew what a code blue was, right, Bella? What would you, the fall, the loss of blood, the medications, whatever went on. I know she had broken ribs. She had a lot of things wrong with her from the fall. So, but clearly it was extremely critical. Like she literally died. They had to bring her back with the code blue.
Commonwealth calls Dr. Mark Henowitz.
Oh, we got a doctor. Happy to have a doctor. Trauma, big time. From the trauma, right? She coded from the trauma. Makes most sense. Yeah. Blunt force trauma. Did she hit her head? Have we determined? Yeah, finally a doctor. Okay, this is where I'm gonna have the most respect for the witness, I think. Hopefully we'll see. Just because based on probably one of the treating physicians.
Just for the record, Your Honor, I'm just going to object to this with agreed circumstances.
Do you want to go to sidebar?
Yeah, please. Would you?
Yeah, I guess we'll see. I mean, that was a big, they're saying the fall was somewhere between 12 and 20 feet. I guess if she hung for a while, like they said, it'd be less, but then she would have went straight down, broke legs. To break her back like that, I don't know. We will definitely learn a lot more from the medical professionals that treated her and the experts. So I'm happy to be hearing this part. Okay, let me see if we can go past a little tiny bit. Okay, here comes.
All right.
True.
Please break him, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
They didn't want to recross him about the code blue. You're right. Absolutely not. Mm-mm. That messes up their fake suicide theory, really. Like she knew she wasn't going to die, but she forgot there was ice, you know? Yeah, the spinal cord.
All right, Good afternoon, Doc.
Afternoon, sir.
If I may,
Yes, please.
thank you. Good afternoon. Could you please state and spell your name for the record?
Mark Joseph Tenarowitz, M-A-R-K,
Trauma, isn't it?
J-O-S-E-P-H, T-E-N-E-R-O-W-I-C-Z.
I've never worked in trauma, so it's above my scope of knowledge. It's so funny because somebody yesterday said something about postpartum psychosis happens within the first couple of days. I'm a NP with a PhD. And I said, I wrote back, I'm like, it doesn't matter. I'm a RN, but my specialty is OB and hospice, but I cannot go in a trauma. I mean, you know, it doesn't matter what initials you have. It matters what specialty you work in and what your knowledge base is. You can't just say that just because you have extra initials behind your name. Like some people get a little bit too big for their britches for what their scope is outside of what they actually do. We're not God. We don't know everything. That's why they're specialists, right? That's why one doctor is going to send you to a specialist of another because it's outside of their scope. You can't take a med surg nurse and bring her in a labor and delivery room and say, go for it. Here's the fetal monitor. Here's the patient. Have fun. Good luck. Because they won't know how to read the fetal monitor. They won't know what's going on. So it's like, you got to stay in your lane. It's not live. I'm live, but this was live earlier. We're sort of way behind because I had things to do this morning. So I'm live, but this is recorded from today. No, we're watching the replay together. Yes. Thank you. Fractures, all the body trauma, where the blood lost during surgery or injury. Was there blood lost during surgery or injury? Right. Bella, I was asking about the fact that her wrists weren't bleeding. Do you think it could have been based because she was so cold, the hypothermia, that she vasoconstricted in her extremities and they didn't continue to bleed because they were shunting the blood to the vital organs? What do you think? You're welcome. All right, let's get this doctor on the stand. There's a lot of blood all over the place. She did. She got stitches the next day. The prosecutor said that. The prosecutor said, to somebody on the stand yesterday, did you realize she didn't need stitches until the next day? But I mean, if they have things wrapped and stuff, it's obviously not really a priority unless it's literally gushing from still gushing, you know, from an artery or something. I blame the doctors. I don't really think she was in her right mind. She should have been hospitalized, but a lot of the trial left. I could have completely different opinions soon. Right. Exactly. We got to listen to everything. Right. The vasoconstricts, right? Oh, okay. I stand corrected then. But yeah, next day isn't urgent. But again, you can live without your arms and hands. I mean, you can live. Yeah, you can. And based on my guess, cold and coagulation of blood cells. Right. A cardiologist isn't going to treat an oncology patient for anything other than their cardiac issues. Cold, air, coagulation, blood cells. Yeah. I worked on both ambulance and with the fire department. I'm not an expert though, but I don't see how those injuries could indicate anything other than jumping out of the window head first. That's what I'm thinking too. Basically she's so paralyzed. I'm surprised she can move her upper body, her upper extremities. I know the father. I've been on a lot of those meds and have experienced psychosis. Obviously, nothing like she allegedly did. Oh, God. I can't imagine. I'd be so terrified. Internal bleed plus the cold. And then with the hypothermia, you may bleed more internally because that can affect your clotting factor. Okay, I'll watch. Right? Without being C1, without being pretty much head first. It sounds like Like, you know, when people dive in the pool and break their neck, you'd be shunting blood internally too. Yeah. Either way, coagulation, right. And blood's going to shunt to the vital organs, right? Okay. All right, doctor. Let's see what doctor knows more than us. He might know a little more than I do.
And what is your date of birth, sir?
2/28/69.
Hey,
What do you do for a living?
hey, wait, hold on. We share a birthday, except for I'm older than him. I was born 64. He's born 69. Who looks older? Just checking. We're the same birthday, 2/28. Happy birthday. Okay.
I was an emergency physician. I'm currently not acting as an emergency physician.
Okay. What do you currently do?
I do disability review for the state of Rhode Island.
And so directing your attention back to January of 2023, were you an emergency room physician at that time?
Yes, I was.
And where did you work?
Beth Israel Deaconess Plymouth.
And could you briefly describe for the jurors your educational background and the training that you underwent to qualify to be an emergency room physician?
I did my undergraduate education at Trinity College. I did a one-year post-baccalaureate pre-medical program at Bryn Mawr College. I then got my medical degree from Brown University, and I did my residency in emergency medicine at UMass Memorial in Worcester.
And when you finished your education and training, did you work in emergency care after that point up until you changed positions?
I worked in emergency medicine from 1997 until May of 2025.
And directing your attention to January 24th, 2023, were you working in the evening hours that day?
I was.
And at some point in time, did you treat a child named Dawson Clancy?
Yes.
How did he arrive at the hospital?
He arrived by fire department ambulance.
And when he arrived, were you given a summary of his injuries by emergency personnel?
Yes.
What did you learn at that time?
I was told that he reportedly had been strangled and he was found without a pulse and not breathing.
Oh, we're back to the children. That's probably smart on the prosecution. Let's just go back to the children now instead of Lindsay for a while and get the, what happened to the children again. That's probably a good way to go about things for their own case, right? Don't you think? Let's go back to the horrible things that happened to the children right now, because get the jury back off of that Lindsay code blue. Let's go back to the actual tragedy, the people that are no longer alive from this. I think Mackenzie Shirilla tried to take her own life, but she's still being held accountable. It also riffs me. She's not just pleading guilty if she feels remorse. These people are living now. But Mackenzie Shirilla, there's no question about her mental status. She's just like, a narcissist. She wasn't in any kind of state of psychosis or depression or whatever. As far as I know, that never came up. Just possible POTS, which is a physical issue. Graphic testimony. Thank you, Carolina.
And what observations did you make of Dawson yourself?
When he arrived, he had a breathing tube in. They had placed a device into the bone of his leg to give him intravenous fluids and medicines. CPR was in progress. He was not breathing on his own, and he had no pulse and was not responding.
And after bolstering that, did you observe any trauma to his body?
I believe there were some old appearing bruises on his legs, and there was some ruptured blood vessels on his face.
And did you observe anything in the area of his neck?
Not that I can recall.
And what did you do to treat Dawson?
We continued CPR. We continued to give him IV fluids. We gave him doses of adrenaline to try and restart his heart. We confirmed that the breathing tube was in the right position. We eventually gave medicines to treat the presumed acid buildup in his blood. We gave him calcium to make sure that his heart would, if it started again, would beat effectively. And that's what we did.
And how did you go about making sure that the breathing apparatus was in place properly?
Basically 4 ways. We detected carbon dioxide in the air coming out of his lungs, which usually just comes from the lungs. I listened and could hear breath sounds.
Good as gold. All right. This is sad. I'm going to try to be quiet because this is going to be a horrible testimony.
Looked with a video laryngoscope to confirm that the tube was between the vocal cords going into the lungs, and we did an x-ray.
And when you say you were hearing breath sounds, was that him breathing on his own or something else breathing for him?
That it was someone breathing for him, squeezing the bag attached to the breathing tube.
And so that the breath sounds you heard just confirmed that whoever was squeezing the bag valve mask, the air from that was going into the lungs and then carbon dioxide was coming out.
He was not breathing spontaneously.
Okay. And are you, while all of this is happening, are you continuing to assess him and his condition?
Yes.
And what were your assessments?
So we would stop periodically every several minutes to very briefly check to see if he was breathing on his own or if he had a pulse. And he was not at any point. At one point, towards the end of the resuscitation, I used an ultrasound to determine if his heart was beating effectively, and there was no evidence of that.
Okay. And based on your training and experience, at some point in time, did you make a determination that your efforts weren't going to be successful?
I did, based on the time from when resuscitative efforts started in the field by the paramedics and the time that we put in, and the fact that despite the best resuscitative efforts we could, the fluids, the medicines, the CPR, breathing for him, it did not look like his heart would ever start again.
Approximately how long did you and your team work on Dawson?
I believe we worked on Dawson about 40 minutes, in addition to what the paramedics had done previously.
At any point in time, did you try to use a defibrillator?
I did not.
And why is that?
He was unfortunately never in a heart rhythm that would have made defibrillation an effective treatment.
So your heart has to be in a certain condition for a defibrillator to even work?
Yes, there are two heart rhythms, basically equivalent of the heart, that if you use a defibrillator, you can restore a rhythm that makes the heart beat effectively. He was never in one of those rhythms.
And at some point in time, did you declare Dawson deceased?
Yes.
Okay. And do you recall when that was?
I believe from my review of the records recently, it was at 1928.
In 1928, would that be 7:28 p.m.?
That's correct.
Thank you, doctor.
Mr. Reddington.
Afternoon. You indicated that you observed what appeared to be older bruises to his legs? His lower
Yes.
leg, that like shin area?
Yes.
And you also had an interosseous device, I think, is that what you said?
Yes, he did.
And that would require inserting a needle or something into the actual shin bone area?
Yes, into the tibia.
Thank you, sir. That's all I had.
All right. Anything further?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
Actually, I need a, actually, there were 7 medications in her system, according to toxicology at her, when she went into hospital. And she had peak levels of Remeron and Seroquel that were about the level that she would have taken them 2 hours earlier. So she did have several medications in her system when she went there. I don't know which ones. I can see if I can find that, but you got to understand the prosecution is going to they're not going to tell us anything that makes it look like she seriously was trying to do this. Hey, Mama D, I didn't know either. I guess they went on their field trip this morning and then they came back and went to, is that what it's in? Thank you. There's the URL, you guys, for the civil suit. That'll give you some information. I actually should do a live stream where we just go over the civil suit, right? If anybody's interested, maybe this weekend. Let's continue and see who's coming. So yeah, I think there's some misinformation out there publicly about what was in her system medication-wise, but I'm sure it'll come. If there was or wasn't, if I'm misspeaking or if the rumors or whatever they're saying are wrong, we'll find out. I'm sure it'll come up in testimony. And that's why we're here, really. You would? Okay. Yeah, we could go over it. Who are we calling? I didn't hear. Guess we'll find out right now.
All right, good afternoon, Doctor.
Just for the record, Your Honor, I'd like to just note, same objection.
Same ruling.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon. Could you please state and spell your name for the record?
It's Benjamin Kaufman, BenjaminKaufman.
And your date of birth, sir?
September 10th, 1984.
What do you do for a living?
I'm an emergency medicine doctor.
How long have you been doing that?
About 12 years.
Could you briefly describe for the jurors your educational and training background that qualifies you for that role?
Yeah, I went to Boston University for medical school, and then Kings County for residency training, and then Columbia for fellowship in clinical emergency medicine.
Actually, hold on.
And where do you currently
Kitty
work?
cat. Sorry, my cat's up here being a pain in the butt.
And back
Oh,
in
Lord.
January of 2023, did you work?
Yes, Seroquel actually has other uses, off-label uses. The camera's moving because the cat's rubbing his nose on it. And my mom, they actually gave it to my mom for her her dementia, and she was on it. It started out at 25 milligrams, and yes, off-label, you can use it at a low dose, like a 25 milligram dose for sleep, but it is an antipsychotic. And I believe they had her up to about 300 or 400 milligrams of Seroquel at some point. And kitty cat, go catch your birds. What are you doing? Okay, here, let's go back to the trial because it's worse than having children, I swear. Toddlers. Cat, dog. Sorry, I'm trying to get rid of me so the cat stops messing with the
Work there?
I did.
And specifically on January 24th, 2023, were you working that evening?
I was.
And while you were working that evening, did you treat a patient named Callan Clancy?
Yes, that was my patient.
And do you recall how he arrived at the hospital?
Yes, with the EMS, with CPR ongoing.
And is it typical that when EMS arrive with a patient, they give you kind of a summary or a rundown of the patient's condition?
It is.
And did they give you that rundown on Callan's condition?
They did. He, at the time, his heart had stopped and CPR was ongoing, and he was not breathing. He was receiving breaths by a bag valve mask ventilation.
And what did you do in terms of treating Callan?
So as soon as he came in, basically we put in a breathing tube, and we were able to get an IV established. The first thing we do is give a dose of epinephrine. And in this case, you can look directly at the heart with an ultrasound, and his heart started beating after we were able to give that dose. At that point, we continued compressions, continued giving him breaths through the breathing tube. And Plymouth Hospital does not have pediatrics or the ability to care for that level of pediatric patients. So we're on the phone with Boston Children's Hospital, making preparations basically to get him to the more definitive care.
And about how long into your care of Callan did he regain a heartbeat?
Probably from the time that he got to the ER, maybe like 10 minutes or so, I'm guessing.
At any point in time, did he regain the ability to breathe on his own while he was in your care?
No.
Did you do any examination or testing to determine Callan's brain function?
So at no point did he exhibit any brain function. I'm not like a neurologist, so we are not the definitive person, but in emergency medicine, there's a scale called the Glasgow Coma Scale, which is generally from 3 to 15. There's different variations for pediatrics, but he scored the lowest, which basically is you're in a coma or have no brain response during the entire time that he was in my care.
So on that scale, the 3 to 15, 15, would that be someone who's walking and talking and acting normally?
That's correct.
And a 3, is that someone with no brain function?
That is correct.
And you testified that Callan was at a 3 when you treated him?
At no time during his care did he have any brain function that was evident on my exam.
And at some point in time, was it decided to transfer his care to Boston Children's Hospital?
Yes, we were in contact with him basically immediately, and then he was flown by helicopter to Boston Children's Hospital, and the whole time the ICU doctors were on the phone reviewing the case and making recommendations.
And at any point in time, to your knowledge, from the time he entered the emergency department at Beth Israel Deaconess Plymouth until he arrived at Boston Children's Hospital, was he able to breathe on his own?
No.
Thank you, doctor.
All right, counsel.
I have no questions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, doctor.
Can you imagine being at your own children's murder trial? And if you were in a psychosis state, how horrible this would feel? I can see why they say she still doesn't want to be alive right now. Awful. That's her parents right there. Who's this? Another doctor, probably, the one that treated Cora, maybe. Yeah, it seems like it'd be very fragile right now, no matter which way this was, no matter if it was on purpose or if it was psychosis, her mental state cannot be well.
Hi, good afternoon. Attorney Buckingham, please.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Big difference,
Can you
right?
Please tell the jurors your first and last name.
Melissa Acadapane,
Can you spell your last name for the record?
Arcadipane.
And did you work for South Shore Hospital?
Yes.
And what was your role at South Shore Hospital?
My last role was a supervisor of the specimen processing department in the laboratory.
And do you still work in that role?
No.
Back in 2023, specifically January, were you in that role?
Yes.
And how long had you worked for, or have you worked for South Shore Hospital over the course of the years?
Over 20 years.
You said that you were the specimen processing supervisor.
Correct.
What are the general responsibilities for that role?
Overseeing the department where all of the specimens from within the hospital and even outside of the hospital will come in through that department to be received, checked, make sure they have orders, make sure they're collected in the correct tube.
And the laboratory at South Shore Hospital is responsible for processing blood samples, urine samples that come from other areas of the hospital, correct?
Correct.
So can you just generally tell us how a blood or urine sample would come from the emergency department at South Shore Hospital to the laboratory?
So in most cases, blood sample or urine will come through a pneumatic tube system from the emergency room. They'll put it in a tube, hit a button, and it will come over to the lab, which is what's across the street. And we would take it out of that canister and process it at that point.
And the specimens that are collected in a place like the emergency department are done by a nurse or technician who takes the samples, puts them in the appropriate vial or tube, and labels them, correct?
Correct.
And so when they come to you through that pneumatic system, what does your laboratory do with the samples?
Well, we check the sample, make sure it's labeled, make sure it's in the correct tube, and then we would process it.
And traditionally, would your laboratory receive several samples, meaning several vials of blood or urine from one patient?
They could, yes.
And as far as the orders for testing, you at the laboratory would only run particular tests that are ordered by a physician, correct?
Correct.
Does that usually consume the whole sample that you receive from the emergency department?
Not always, no.
And so would it be a common procedure that samples from a particular patient would be retained in case additional testing needed to be done?
Yes.
And working in the lab as the specimen processing supervisor, are you familiar with what is referred to as a preservation notice?
I am.
What do you know that to be?
So that is a notice that we would receive from a law enforcement agency asking us to hold specific samples for a particular patient.
And what would your laboratory do when you receive a preservation notice for a particular patient?
So this
I think your comment is really, really good. I mean, I'll hear them out, but I've studied psychology on a college level as well as under a therapist and see other things going on here. I don't have a degree and I'm not diagnosing, but I'm not sold. That's a perfect position to be in. If you were, you'd be a good juror right now. I feel like I'm leaning more than I should right now, but I'm really trying not to. I think, what you're saying is very smart. You're keeping your mind open and you're watching. A state mental hospital, much different than a mental health wing of a private hospital. True story. Is any example of how she's been treated in a woman's prison? Lord help her. Oh, if Sandy Malgary, I don't know who is that. Sometime look up Sandy. Okay. Injustice abounds. Oh, wow. It's like a prosecutor is rubbing salt in the wounds. Yeah. Sometimes I feel like she is. I know it's her job, but it feels so wrong. It feels painful. It's painful. The whole thing's painful. So we got blood samples or something that she's supposed to preserve, probably for the toxicology, I imagine. Lindsay, I'm guessing.
samples would be pulled aside, they would be put in a specimen bag. A copy of that preservation notice gets put in the bag with the samples, and it is put in a separate bin within the specimen refrigerator.
And the specimen refrigerator, is that a place that specimens are stored until they're either used or discarded?
Correct.
And does that preserve the specimen?
Meaning they need to be refrigerated. So, but we separate those specimens that potentially could be needed elsewhere into a separate spot so that they don't get discarded.
Now, were you aware that a preservation notice had been served on South Shore Hospital for the blood and urine of Lindsay Clancy on January 24th, 2023?
I was.
And were those samples of blood and urine collected in the same manner you just described and put in a separate bin?
Yes.
And on January 31st, 2023, did you have the opportunity to interact with a trooper from the Massachusetts State Police?
I did.
And what was that interaction? Can you describe it to us?
He came with a warrant to collect the specimens.
And so did you collect the specimens that were labeled for Lindsay Clancy?
I did. Somebody had already put them in that bin in a bag, so I just went to the bin, retrieved them, made sure they were hers, and gave them to the officer.
And in fact, you handed over 6 vials of blood and 1 vial of urine to the trooper on that day, correct?
I don't remember the exact samples or sample type that I handed over, but I do know that I gave him samples.
Okay. And as far as your memory, you recall that you double checked the ID label on the items to make sure that they belong to Lindsay Clancy, correct?
Definitely.
Okay. Nothing further. Thank you.
Counsel.
No questions, thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
Your Honor, at this time, the Commonwealth would move to submit the certified medical records from Beth Israel Deaconess in Plymouth for Cora Clancy, Dawson Clancy, and Callan Clancy in one binder.
No objection.
All right, they may be admitted.
Not guilty by reason of insanity. Mama. Not guilty by reason of insanity. Insanity. Okay, where are we? So these are, I wonder if this is going to be the toxicology. What are we going to look at next here? Hold on. Oh, this is almost over. Did they restream or are they ending? Let's see what happens. Okay. This looks like
Jury, in talking to counsel,
They're going to end,
we are
huh?
gonna break for today. All right. What I was talking about over here is in regards to the schedule where we are. We are, if not on schedule, at a schedule. All right. And much of it is because of the work when you're not here, council is going over some of the exhibits and some of that. And that's part of some of these breaks, at least for you. All right. So I just kind of want to let you know that's what's going on. So I'm gonna excuse you. I know it's been a long week anyway. So we're gonna take a break till Monday. All right. And on Monday, the schedule anticipation will start about 9, maybe a little bit later than that. But I ask you to be here ready to go at 9. There's some matters I may have to talk to counsel, so it might give a little bit late start for you on Monday. And then the anticipations will go most of the day. All right. Like I said, we are well on schedule, if not ahead. What I want to remind you now, which you know I'm going to remind you, that you're going to be not here for a couple of days. It's very important. You've heard some of the evidence. You haven't heard all of the evidence. All right. You haven't heard the law that you will apply to this. So you have to keep an open mind. And the best way to do that is don't talk about this with anyone. Don't do any research. Don't watch anything. If something comes on, turn it off. And just like I said, if you're talking to somebody, brings up, blame me. All right. The judge said I am not to talk about it. I'm not to listen to anybody talking about this and shut them down right away.
I don't know what time they ended.
All the work that you put in here so far. I look forward to seeing you on Monday. I hope you have a nice weekend, and we'll see you then. All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Good.
Remove. Bye. I'll let you know if I'm going to do something this weekend. I'll post it. No, they're not sequestered. A rough day. I can't imagine being Lindsay sitting there. Oh. I can't imagine being her parents sitting there. I can't imagine being anyone sitting there, to be honest. I can't even imagine. I'm just glad I'm not there. I would not want to be in this courtroom. I went to part of the Valo Daybell, but not this one. I would not want to hear that 911 call.
Anything else we need to address before Monday morning? Counsel?
No, thank you.
All right. So we'll be in recess on this matter
Okay, let me get rid of them.
Monday morning at 9 o'clock. We'll resume the trial. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, remove that. All right, let me get rid of them. Wow. Okay, we learned some stuff today. I'm still shocked about the code blue. I would like to know the results of her toxicology because, like I said, I had looked it up and they said there were seven medications in her tox screen. And then I was thinking, yeah, maybe go over the civil case on a live tomorrow. What do you think? I'll figure out what I have going on tomorrow, and then I'll post it either tonight or tomorrow if I'm going to do it. I'm thinking, why not? We should. It'd be educational for this whole court case and to understand what some of the other part that's going on and what code blue. Yeah, did you hear that part? So apparently Lindsay coded when that police officer was sitting there watching her for 16 hours. And he said something on the stand like, oh, there was some kind of a code or something. And I was like, wait, what? There's a code? What kind of code? Like a code or a code blue code or a rapid response code? What the heck? And then when the cross-examination happened, Lindsay's defense attorney said, so it was really busy. There's a lot going on. And there was a code blue called across the thing to bring people to her room. And he's like, yes. And he goes, in a code blue means that you're like dead or dying, right? And he said, yes. So he downplayed it. The police officer downplayed what the code was until he got cross-examined. Then he had to say, well, yeah, that's what it was. So she went into cardiac arrest. So that's a big deal because nobody's brought that up, especially the prosecution. They don't want you to know that she actually died and had to be brought back. Yeah. And that's what PLM said. She's like, okay, well, I'm starting to have these little suspect about these cops, like which way they're leaning, because a cop knows what a code blue is. And he says, there's some kind of a code was called. I'm like, oh, code what? Like, security code? You know, we can call security as a code. You can call a neonatal code. You can call code baby stolen code. You can call all kinds of code. But to her room, what kind of code was called? Only thing I can think of is a code blue or a rapid response of some sort where they needed help. So turns out it was called boom. It's been on the down low. Nobody's talking about that. Never saw it once anywhere. Not on the Facebook groups, TikTok, nobody. So that's a huge big thing. Huge. Yeah, big thing. He was told not to give out medical information as a police officer. Some kind of a code. Right. He could have said code blue though, right? I don't know. I'm just glad that the cross-examination actually pointed that out, because that's important information. Huge, right? It's a big deal. So they had already tried and found guilty. I'm surprised they don't sue the city. Well, these cops that are on the stand are definitely on the prosecution side, right? Thank you. Thank you for sharing your knowledge with us. Sorry, my bad batteries. I have really enjoyed having a nurse perspective watching this. Have a great weekend. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you very, 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 very much. Much appreciated for both appreciating my discussion and the super chat. I think it's a problem the way the prosecutor asked that question, though. It strikes me as being disingenuous. Plus, the code blue was called on the loudspeaker, not exactly the most private thing. Exactly. Well, they're called all over the hospital, right? Do not use they say you do not use the elevators in our hospital. Like, the code team has to run. Not a team I want to be on. I have sympathy for her. Her mind must be in constant turmoil and pain. Of course, you're very welcome, Bella. Thank you so much for joking us today. Have a wonderful weekend. Joking us or joining us? You got to love autocorrect, right? The cops should not be choosing sides. I really appreciate that about the cops and their professionalism in the Vallow case. True. Yeah. For some reason, we brought that up yesterday, though. Like, imagine coming on that scene for a woman that tried to commit suicide. She's on the ground, and then you're there, and you're the eyes seeing these 3 babies dead, and you know she did it. I don't know if that would make you biased from day one. A lot of adrenaline rushing in on trauma and codes. That for sure. Don't code. Don't code on my watch. No, thank you. All right. Well, I guess I'll figure out what we're going to do tomorrow. I have a love-hate relationship with codes. I like to be able to do something, but I hate when it's not enough. Yeah, the only thing I've coded was a newborn, like a neonate. I haven't coded a real human, adult ever. Thank God. All the times I've worked and everything. And then my hospice patients, they code, but they're not, they're DNRs. So I'd feel the same, but I would check myself before court, right? Kind of just like, okay, you got to be you're the witness. What are you talking about? Answer the questions and don't be shady about a code. It's a mess. I just don't understand how it got to this point. I can't figure out how to feel. I want to feel bad for her, but WTF. Yeah, this is such a hard trial. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. I do appreciate you. I can't see. The truth is in here. What do I know? 199. I'm gonna get really close to my computer screen. I've only been on adult codes. I was lucky enough to get all my patients back, but a lot of my colleagues didn't. I know. I can only imagine when my ex-husband collapsed out on a Sunday watching football at a bar, and they worked on him in the I can't even imagine. And his girlfriend was severely traumatized, obviously. I mean, she was no help apparently, but what can you say? Not everybody's gonna be helped. But there's a paramedic in the restaurant. It was like a bar restaurant. They were watching football, and they started CPR, but it didn't work. I had a child code in OR once, and thankfully anesthesia is there with the thing. Well, when we circulate for C-sections, I'm just happy. Anesthesia. I'll help you. But thank God you're here to run the thing. I would agree, but she really did try to get help. She did try. I see a lot of evidence of her trying to get help. I mean, I think that would be a very long, calculated, very in-depth, premeditated, to go for months looking for help, checking yourself in an ER, calling the suicide hotline, calling the crisis team, going to another hospital, going into mental hospital for 5 days, asking for help, going to different psychiatrists, going to, therapists, and changing meds. And still it just doesn't make sense to me that would be all those steps would be somebody premeditating the murder of their children. That doesn't make sense in my head at all. I needed a name that wasn't taken, so I went through the long route so I didn't have to pick 800 times, right? Well, you picked a really nice long name, but it blurs together because I probably need new glasses. But thank you for being here. I do appreciate it. I think I'm going to call you the truth. The truth is in. The truth is in. How about that? Trial is very complex trial and has a lot of legal, psychological layers to it. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Carolina. I learned how to catch the baby, but I'm not sure if I could do it because the video we watched of someone giving birth made me feel like I would pass out. Just down and up. They come down, you go up, they come out. Just down and up. Easy peasy. She has been through it. It's awful. Mental health in the USA must change. Yeah, it's not ideal at all. But yeah, I mean, because sometimes babies are, somebody had said that babies are extremely resilient, and a newborn baby being born, sometimes they come out kind of dead. And they are super resilient, thankfully, because it's very dangerous to be born, by the way. But we can bring them back. And the ones I've coded have all come back. Thank God. Thank God. They usually will code right after they come out. Tight nuchal cord or bad strep or something, It's good. It doesn't look like something that big should pass through an area that small. Oh, I'm glad I never had to help in a delivery and that I never got pregnant in my life. Yeah, I've been in thousands of deliveries. Thousands and thousands, every which way. It's kind of cool. I actually like it. I'm not doing it anymore, though. I can't do bedside. My back, my knee, my 12 hours. Old at this point. I enjoyed it when I did it, but I can't do it now. So I'm going to stick with, hopefully, if I get this job, case management, and it's still OB. So it works. And hospice I'm kind of done with because hospice is great. I'm good at it. My patients all love me, but man, it sucks your soul too, big time. None of us wanted something that size out of us. True story. Like, how'd that come out of there? Whoa. 7.5 pounds. I can't lift the patients anymore either because of a fully separated right shoulder from a motorcycle accident. Yikes. Yeah. Yeah, our bodies take a toll, don't they? I'm probably going to need a new knee eventually. They said I don't need it yet, so thank God. And my back is jacked big time. And then I hurt my back worse with my mom because as she was laying here actively dying and became bedbound and I didn't have any help, when she was in the ER, I should have called for help, but I was with her and she put her head through the bars. And I already have severe degenerative disc disease in my back. I'm like, what? I do? What? But anyway, she had her head and I was like a dummy. I was on the phone with my daughter while I was in the ER with my mom. And I went to lift her head and she pushed back against me. Those little old people are so strong sometimes. And I felt something pop in my back. And that was in December. And my back still hurts. Like I can't fold laundry for very long. I have to if I lay flat on the floor for a little while, it stops. And then I have one of those like TENS machines, but it's bad. I made it worse is what I did. I had already had a problem and then I just made it worse. Your back is messed up too. That's what I mean. Like the career of a nurse and a mom and everything else we do in our lives, it really does trash our bodies. My flight attendant career and my nursing career and having 4 kids. I'm lucky I'm walking. Seriously. But my back is really bad. I don't know what I'm going to do. I need to get to PT. I have an order for PT that I haven't used yet. So that's my fault because nurses are really bad patients, by the way, just FYI. We are not good patients at all. All right. I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Please stay safe and stay well. So are medics, bad patients. Yep. But all right, guys, stay safe and stay well. And I will see you soon. Bye.